afternoon. Great to be here, great to see you all. We just played a couple of Irish tunes. The first one is a very old Irish air, and then we followed that with a very well-known reel called Over the Moor to Maggie. And we're going to change gears now, and we're going to go from Ireland down to Spain, and we're going to play for you our own arrangement of what is originally a solo piano piece by Isaac Albéniz, called Asturias, named after the place, of course. And as a classical guitarist myself for many years, the piece Asturias was always quite prominent in the classical guitar world. And when I was younger, when I was actually 18, my father, for my 18th birthday, took me to hear a guitar concert. And this guitar concert was in New Jersey, where I grew up, and so it was a classical guitar concert. And I was, at the time, like, well, I don't really know what classical guitar is, and I don't know, maybe it's going to be boring. And he said, no, come on, it'll be really fun, and maybe you'll enjoy it. And I said, okay, you know, as an 18-year-old would. And we get there, and I look at the program, and the name is Andre Segovia. And I said, I think I recognize that name. Anyway, at this concert, Segovia played this piece, which he was known for, and I thought, wow, that's just amazing. I want to learn how to do that. So I tried my hand at Asturias, like all classical guitarists do. And then when I met Edwin, I thought maybe I could just make this a little bit easier on me and give him all the hard parts. So we split it up and we each get to take our own parts. But we'll play that for you now. This is called Asturias.
It's so great to be back. I have fall break this week, and for this fall break I chose to go on a tour with one of my best friends in the world, and it's been such a fun week. Tomorrow morning, back to school. We've been having a really fun time playing together. About 6 years ago, in 2000, maybe 7 years ago, in 2017, we went to Ireland and did some concerts and made a short film, and one of those concerts was at the Dingle Folk Festival. And I got to meet an old friend of William's, and she is this amazing, magical singer that lives in Dingle, and we were able to invite her this week to join us. So I would like to welcome Eilis Kennedy.
What a pleasure for me to be here. Thanks so much, Edwin. It's gorgeous, and I brought a little bit of Irish weather with me. Hope you appreciate. Makes me feel quite at home. I'm going to sing a song that I wrote about 4 years ago when I was researching or doing a little bit of reading about something that I got peculiarly interested in, which was whaling in New England. You might be wondering why on earth I would do that, but it was to do with a particular event, a historical event that I was curious about investigating. And in doing that, I went to the New Bedford Whaling Museum, where I got some really good help from the curator there in the library. And while I was looking up information and whaling log books, ship's logs and so on, I found that I was able to actually have access to letters from whalemen to their families and vice versa from their wives. And I began to realise things I didn't really realise before, which was the average length of time to be away for a whaling captain would be 4 years, and that would be quite a usual amount of time in the 1800s. And the letters are so restrained in that 1800s kind of way, obviously sent not knowing whether they would be received, number one, and received way, way after they were sent, so that the timing and the news wouldn't be relevant anymore. But somehow just the act of writing and receiving is in itself sort of comforting in some way. So one of the phrases that was in one of the letters was this woman, and she's talking about her husband, and she's saying, "Dear William," or "my dearest husband." They were usually sort of "my dear affectionate husband" or "my dear affectionate wife." And she's saying, "You're gone 4 months today, 4 months out of 4 years." And she's trying to reconcile herself to 4 years of his absence. And she said, "I've calculated that if I only count my waking hours, I will only miss you for half the time, because when I'm asleep, you're with me." So it's called "When I Sleep." My dearest William, I have received your letters. It fills my heart with joy, this news to learn. Your precious life preserved amid 1,000 dangers. I pray it will be so till you return. The snow bears witness to the depths of winter, and when I speak, a breath of frost does come. Your father took a cold and bides by the fireside. Our own dear son grows healthy, strong and tall. And when I sleep, I don't realize your absence. I hear your steps and see your cheerful face. The wind waves subside and all the house is silent. The day begins and quiet you steal away. I I threw some leaves into the brook this morning to see them sail along the silver stream. I take more notice now of all things pertaining to water's journey towards the open sea. And when I sleep, I don't realize your absence. I hear your steps and see your cheerful face. The wind and waves subside and all the house is silent. The day begins and quiet you steal away. The barley flourishes, the corn is very large now. Our sweet, sweet son is handsome and he's strong. I took your overcoat for to give it airing, in hopes, dear William, that you're homeward bound. And when I sleep, I don't realize your absence. I hear your steps and see your cheerful face. The wind and waves subside and all the house is silent. The day begins and quiet you steal away. The day begins and quiet you steal away. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. It's so nice to be here with these two, and it's kind of sad really because tomorrow we're all parting ways, or even this evening, so it's fantastic to be here with you but also with them. So this next song is more or less from the 16th century in England, Norfolk, and there's many versions of it and many verses, but I won't include all of the versions or all of the verses, or we'd be here for another maybe 45 minutes. So but it's a song that I like the sound of ever since actually William and I started playing it years and years ago, and it has slightly a creepy feeling to it, I always think. So and it's full of metaphors and sort of coded language, and it's called "Go From My Window," and many of the versions that are in it, you'll hear so many of them if you kind of look them up online. Many of them have these verses, so I kind of used as many versions as I could to find the 4 verses we're choosing today. Go from my window, my love, oh my dove. Go from my window, my dear. The wind is in the west, and the cuckoo's in his nest.
from my window, my dear, the wind and the rain drive the swallow again. You won't find a lodging here, fare thee well. You won't find a lodging here. Oh, from my window, my love, oh my dove. Oh, from my window, my dear. The wind is blowing high, and the ship is lying by. You won't find a harbor near, fare thee well. You won't find a harbor here. Go from my window, my love, oh my dove. Go from my window, my dear. The devil's in a man that he will not understand, that he won't find a harbor in here, fare thee well. You won't find a lodging Thank you. Thank you. It is a bit creepy, isn't it? So we're going to make you a little bit happier with the next song, I think. This is a song in Gaelic. Where I live in Ireland, we're very fortunate that not only is it a beautiful place, like here, with the sea and the rolling mountains, not quite as much sunshine, but the tradition of singing and the tradition of music is very strong there. Because it's a Gaelic-speaking area, well, not just because, but that it has had a huge influence on the amount of songs that we know, I guess. So most young children in Ireland will learn this particular song that we're going to play next. They learn it in school, or they learn it at home, or from elder sisters or brothers or something. And then there's a whole cohort of teenagers who do the equivalent of summer camp in Ireland, and they go to regions like where I live and they learn Gaelic. Well, that's the reason they go there. They don't always learn Gaelic, but they do many other things. And one of the things they do is learn some céilí dancing and meet some of the locals and learn this song, which is about a little girl who wants to go to the fair, but her mother won't let her because she's too young. And many people are familiar with this. When I had teenagers myself, I was extremely familiar with it. And when I was younger myself, my mother was very good at kind of making reasons for us not to go to things, which was not in a bad way. She was very, very good to us. But dingle races, she considered a bit rowdy. She used to say there's a rowdy element there, and we used to be very curious to meet them, of course. So this song is a little bit like a young girl or young boy asking their parents, can they go to something, and the parents going, sorry, not this year. And they keep saying that until they run out of excuses. So it's called Beginnach and Morich Gunten Chlor, which means there's the fair tomorrow in County Clare.
don't do that. Wow, it's such a, I hope you enjoyed Elisha's beautiful singing. I can't stop smiling but I also have to play, so I have to be careful. Anyways, we're so delighted to have her here with us today. We wanted to play a little bit of something that I grew up with since I was about 5 years old, which is the Four Seasons by Antonio Vivaldi. And then we're gonna take a short break, and then we're gonna come back with some more music. So today we've decided to look ahead and play the season of winter for you all, which is one that we have really enjoyed working on. William and I play a lot of Bach together, which many of you know at the Carmel Bach Festival. And then when we found out that that just felt so good and we could groove on that together so well, I asked if he would learn the orchestral parts to these concertos, because they're for violin and orchestra. And so he can play them all. So Vivaldi wrote about 465 concertos, literally. So we're on number 3 right now. So stay tuned for more. But for today, we'd love to play for you Winter. And the second movement of Winter, you'll definitely recognize. It's a sweet, sweet melody. And the orchestra part is a little bit different than what would have been written. But it's super fun. So we hope you enjoy.
So we're going to continue on with another song now. This is a song that William introduced me to a few years ago, and I thought it was a lovely message of hope when things maybe aren't going your way, or if things are getting you down a little bit. It's associated with, amongst other things, again, getting back to the sea and to ships. There was a ship called the Three Brothers out of, I think, might have been Nantucket or New Bedford or one of those ports, and it was in the book that by this man called Gail Huntington, who collected a whole lot of sea shanties and sea songs. It was found in that ship. We're not sure exactly how it got in there. It was published actually in book form at some point, but none of that is really important. The importance of the song to me is that when you find a song that immediately says something to you at a time in your life, and it was a particular time in my life at the time as well, it sort of resonated. And then in the last 2 years, it definitely became very true. So it's called Row On, and it's kind of a song of hope.
Clouds are upon the summer sky. There's thunder on the wind. Row on, and homeward time, nor give one look behind. Where thou go, the words of love say all that love can say. Changeless affection, strength to prove, and speed upon the way. Row on, another day may shine with brighter light. Ply the oars and pull away. There's dawn beyond the night. Like yonder river would I glide to where my heart would be. My bark would soon outsail the tide that hurries to the sea. Row on, another day may shine with brighter light. Ply the oars and pull away. There's dawn beyond the night. And yet a star shines constant still on yonder cloudy sky, and hope as bright my bosom fills from faith that cannot die. Row on,
Row on, God speed the way. Thou cannot linger here. Storms gather round the closing day. Tomorrow may be clear. Row on, another day may shine with brighter light. Ply, ply the oars and pull away. There's dawn beyond the night. Thank you. Thanks, Edwin. Thank you. Thanks so much. So one of the, if you've been to Ireland, you may have heard unaccompanied singing a lot. And where I come from, that would have been most of the kind of singing I would have heard growing up would be in company, everybody having a party piece of various qualities and lengths and whatnot. And it was more about the community of singing. In fact, the Gaelic for singing a song is aber aron, tell a song, rather than sing a song. And so a lot of the songs that I know sort of were my uncles or my dad or used to sing them. And a lot of the Gaelic songs have been passed down like that from previous generations. And now young people are still learning those songs. There's more resources, but it was nice to get them just from people. I like to get a song from a person and with their idiosyncrasies or the way they might sing them. So I learned this next song from my sister, but not in a formal sitting down learning it way, just from kind of listening to her singing it. There's 8 in my family. She's the eldest. I'm the 7th. And so we all looked up to her a lot. She unfortunately has Alzheimer's now, and she doesn't remember many things, but she can sing along with all these songs. So I always advocate that, actually, for somebody in that situation. So, so this is called Caraush Arfag on Lay Wum, which means, where have you been all day? And it's the same, more or less, song as Where Have You Been All Day, Henry, my son? You know that song? So, and it's unaccompanied, so no help from the boys, unfortunately. Caraush Arfag on Lay Wum, Avocalino, Caraush Arfag on Lay Wum, Allein sa stor, Vis ek vir so fauleirochs, Avorino, is calling all Tom brote galore. Cada istada in air, Avorlino. Cada istada in air, alle is a store. Tis shikini never, floating on, is coding all about Tom brote galore. Cada rogereg avoir avogelino. Cada rogereg de voir alleen is a storm. Maar was mag het kira avorino is korig molabo time brote galore is cada rogereg tair avogelino cada rogereg tair alleen is a storm mocht is gera kapel avorino is korig molabo time brutem galore is cada rogereg do chéile avogelino cada rogereg de chéile alleen is a storm Fácut crochan líochracha is tiad ládir chóid is córig málabo táim brútem galore Córás fagan leiwam avogelino Córás fagan leiwam alleen is a storm Vís ek veeg so fáleirocht Avorino is korig molabo Táim brúte galore
Thank you. Thanks very much. You're very kind. We're going to do another song now. And this is a song I wrote about a very daring rescue in 1876, which was the culmination of many years planning and writing letters and crowdfunding and generally being very secretive. It involved very brave whaling master from New Bedford called Captain George Anthony, who was given the task of bringing a whaling ship called the Catalpa all the way to Fremantle in Australia from New Bedford. And his task was to do some whaling, but his real task was to rescue 6 Fenian Irish prisoners from a jail in Fremantle called the Establishment. And this was no easy task. And he took it on willingly, which was amazing, because he wasn't allowed to tell any of his crew, except the first mate, what the real purpose of the mission was. And it's a testament to many things. One of them is communication, really good letter writing, really good crowdfunding, because they had to buy the boat, and a lot of secrecy. So it's called the Catalpa Rescue. It's such a long story, it's hard to put it in one song, but I tried to squish it into 4 verses if I could. One of the letters which actually was a catalyst to the whole thing, was a letter from the tomb, as it was called, from one of the prisoners to a man called John Devoy in the United States. And it was so poignant and so urgent that he made sure that the whole thing was going to happen. And a friendly, helpful Irish priest was also involved, who helped to deliver messages to and from the prison. It was all very exciting. 3 men scar the moorings in the port of New Bedford in search of a whaler for a clandestine cause. In far-off Australia, their 6 Fenians languished to grant them their freedom from servitude's jaws. A 3-masted bark was the whaler Catalpan. Her tidy length out crossed oceans vast. The men went on board for to test out her metal in planking and rigging, in bowsprit and mast. No whale could compare to the enemy challenge. Our captain and crew would risk scaffold and war. But Catalpa was coppered, she was manned and was ready for a mission more daring than ever before. A letter was smuggled from Fremantle prison. Devoy in the New World read its sanguine plea. Please do not forsake us, your own Fenian brothers. In this living tomb we are friendless indeed. It was late in the spring that they sighted Australia. The whaling was over, but the danger began. Breslin sent word to the prisoners waiting, let no man's heart fail, this will ne'er come again. Each man on the shore played his part with courage. There were 2 waiting wagons, the plan they knew well, but the British Georgette, she loomed as she lay to. Her 12-pounder cannon could doom them to hell.
shouted Grady, the naval commander, "You shall not board us," were Anthony's words. "For this is my whaler and the flag of my country, and it's there we are bound with all free men aboard. Harrington, Hassett, Dara and Hogan, Wilson and Cranston completed the crew, from 10 years and chains to the whaler's safe harbor, and 10,000 miles to their freedom anew."
Thanks very much. What's next? Am I going up? Yeah. Thank you.
So, it's so nice to hear songs. I'm teaching a fiddle ensemble right now at my college in Ohio, and what I often do for the students is I tell them that we're on the violin. What we're trying to do is imitate a human voice, because the unbelievable inflections that you have are ornaments all over the place. So it's really amazing to hear and see Eilis do all these magical things with her voice and then try to make them happen on the violin. It's really, really fun. We're going to play something we love to do now for you all, which is mixing folk and Baroque music. And I'm going to let William introduce this piece because he's really good at it. But I just wanted to say thank you all again for coming, and for Church in the Forest for having us. It's so great to play here.
Hello. Interesting how the weather changes and the instrument changes with it. So, I think many of you have seen us play before, and you know that we like to mix up Bach and folk music. This piece is called the Liquid Gold Suite, and it came to us many, many years ago when we first started playing together. And we were on the road somewhere, and Edwin said, "Hey, Bill, do you know about the solo violin music of J.S. Bach?" And I said, "Of course. There's a great classical guitar piece called the Chaconne, which actually isn't a guitar piece. It's a violin solo, but many classical guitarists play it." And I said, "Yeah, I know that. That's from a D minor partita, right?" And he said, "Yeah, that's it. But did you know that there were 4 movements that come right before the Chaconne?" I said, "Yeah, I think I might have known that, but I don't know how they go." And he said, "Well, they're great movements, and I've got the score here, and not only do I like them, but Robert Schumann, the great piano virtuoso and composer, also loved the music of Bach so much, he decided that he would write piano accompaniments to go with the solo violin music." I said I had not heard about that, so Edwin got his book, and he hands me the book. He says, "Here, play this piano music on the guitar." And I said, "Sure, I'm from Jersey. I can do anything, no problem." And I opened the book, and there was just so many notes, and tremolo, and glissando, and ornamentation, and big chords, and just all these things that 10 fingers can do on 88 keys. And I've got one little flat pick here and a few fingers. And I added up the math, and I said to Edwin, great, but I don't think this is going to work. So I gave him the book back, and I said, maybe you should find yourself a piano player. Well, as you can see, he did not. Here I am on the lowly guitar playing accompaniment to the Bach music that is kind of modeled on or influenced by the music that Robert Schumann wrote. So I took that music and I kind of made it fit for my own style. So we got to that part, we had 4 movements of Bach, and I said, well, let's go a little crazy and let's add an Irish tune in between each movement of the Bach. So that's what we're going to play for you now. So there are 8 movements altogether. I'll tell you what they are. There will not be a test. Only us, we're the only ones that will be tested, I guess. Okay, so we'll start with the first movement of Bach, which is called the Allemande. After that, we'll segue directly into a tune that was written by a great musician from Northern Ireland named Brian Finnegan, a little tune he wrote called the Marga's Moment. And it's a modern Irish tune in the time signature of 7/8, for those of you that like to count time signatures. Following that, we'll go back to Bach and we'll play the Courante, which is a triple meter Baroque dance. We'll follow that with an Irish tune, which is a triple meter Irish dance tune called the Slip Jig, and that one's called the Honey Bee. From there, we'll go back to Bach and we'll play the Sarabande, which is a slower and more kind of ethereal, beautiful movement. After that, we'll go and play another jig that comes from a great musician in Chicago named Kathleen Keene, a beautiful tune she wrote called the Quarter-Inch Wick. And after that, we'll go from the Irish jig into the Bach jig, which is the 4th of the Bach movements. That brings us to 7. We've got one more. We couldn't stop there. We had to add one more tune at the end, an Irish reel called the Wedding Reel. So there are 8 movements altogether, one after the other. The whole thing takes about 2.5 hours, so I hope if you need to call the sitter or the dog sitter, now's the time. Just kidding, of course. The whole thing takes about 20 minutes, and we hope that you enjoy this little adventure that we've created here with Bach and Irish music. And again, it's called the Liquid Gold Suite. Yeah.
Wasn't that amazing? You just don't want it to stop, do you? Going to do one more little song for you now. It's another song I used to hear my uncles and my dad singing now and again. Not all that often, actually, but where I'm from in Ireland is a place called Kerry, and the next county south of us is Cork. I don't know if you've ever been, but it's also a beautiful county. And one of the peninsulas is the Beara Peninsula. And the poet who wrote this next song lived for a good while on that peninsula, and he learnt all his Gaelic there, his Irish. And the song is one of those, like an exile song. In other words, he's far away from Beara. He would like to be there. That's where his true love is, and all his happy memories are. And he just would like to be back there. And there's beautiful Gaelic words in this, hard to sort of, I guess, paraphrase them in English, but the general gist of it is, I'd be young, I'd be full of vigour, I would be leaping around from mountain top to the sea, and there's one line in it which says, is talking about the birds singing over the mountains to the sea and reminding him of his true love, and if he'd only be with her for one more little while, he'd be the happiest man. But he's clearly imprisoned in his work somewhere, possibly in a city. So it's called Maidin Imera, One Morning in Beara. It's very short, don't worry. Ishem alech, gan misham Maidin Imera. Mohammed Hasuver and drawing is gone and then him hadn't gosh na farega God have a night in Maramian Moron is all a marrow at a soch a lame in Darren star, oh, I'm never and then. Darren dream, let's come live on the so. Dawain moler hoen, da work mochiv harbon. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. 'Tis you must go and I must bide. But call me back when summer's in the meadow and when the valley's hushed and white with snow, and I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so.
And if you come when all the flowers are dying, and I am dead, as dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me, and I shall hear those soft you tread above me, and all my grave will as warm or sweeter be, and you shall bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to